Namaskar, I am Harsh Sahani. On behalf of Tata Motors, I am pleased to announce and introduce a new potential line. Let's understand about this product line in detail through this effective video.
Before starting a journey in your commercial vehicle, it is important to make sure all the parts are working efficiently. One important part to inspect is the alternator of your vehicle. The alternator helps power your vehicle when you are on the road. Tata Motors Durafit Parts introduces the latest range of alternators and components for Tata Motors commercial vehicles. Before we get into the important features of our newest product, let us understand the operation of an alternator in detail. An alternator is a device that converts mechanical energy into AC electrical energy. In a vehicle, the engine turns a drive belt that rotates a pulley attached to the alternator. As the alternator rotates, it creates a DC voltage primarily to charge the vehicle battery. The battery provides the spike of current required to start the vehicle engine. Once the vehicle is running, the alternator, as the name suggests, alternates to provide power to run the vehicle's electrical systems. Let us have a look at the three major components of the alternator. Number 1, the rotor. Second is the stator. And the third is the rectifier. There are more components and we will get to those as we progress through the video. The engine drives the pulley system, which spins the rotor inside the stator. At the heart of the rotor is an electromagnet. Let us understand what an electromagnet is. An electromagnet consists of a length of conductive wire wrapped around a piece of magnetic metal. When voltage is applied to this coiled wire, it creates a current. This, in turn, creates a magnetic field around the coiled wire, much like a permanent magnet that has a north and south pole. A rotor also has a series of alternating north and south finger pole pieces placed around the field windings. They wrap around the iron core on the rotor shaft, which makes it act like an electromagnet. The rotor fits inside the stator, which is a stationary part of the alternator. The rotor physically rotates inside the stator without touching it. Due to the rotor spinning inside the stator, a rotating magnetic field is generated by passing current from the battery initially through brush and the slip rings, which are placed at one end of the rotor shaft. This induces a voltage in stator coil windings. At this point, we have 3 AC voltages being produced by our spinning rotor. But for charging the battery, we need a DC voltage in order to operate the vehicle's electrical devices. Hence, to convert AC to DC, we need a rectifier. The alternator rectifier has 6 diodes. They are mounted on a heat-sinking material to protect them from burning up. Since the rotor field coil is an electromagnet, a DC voltage is applied via the slip rings from 2 different sources. The first slip ring is from the battery when the engine is started. The second source is from the alternator itself once the rotor is spinning via a component called the diode trio. The diode trio output is fed to another alternator component called the voltage regulator. This becomes the energizing voltage for the rotor electromagnet once the engine starts running. The voltage regulator is another important component, and just like the diode trio, it comes in various shapes and sizes depending on the vendor and alternator model. It is an electronic device that acts like an alternator voltage monitor, as it keeps an eye on the battery voltage. The purpose of the voltage regulator is to adjust the electromagnet energizing voltage so that the stator output voltages are held relatively constant regardless of variations in engine speed. This is because the stator voltages need to be rectified and then used to charge the battery, because a high voltage can damage the electrical devices of the vehicle. Now that we've covered all the parts of the alternators, let's see how all of the parts work together. The ignition switch allows the battery to energize the alternator rotor. As the engine becomes more active, the rotor spins faster and the stator voltage along with the rectifier output battery charge voltage rises up. Then the voltage regulator senses the battery voltage rise and reduces the electromagnet energizing the voltage and the stator voltage drop. Let's summarize what we have learned. An alternator is an electromechanical device that generates a DC voltage and maintains the vehicle battery voltage. The main components of the alternator are rotor, stator, rectifier, diode trio, and voltage regulator. The rotor spins inside the stator, creating 3 separate AC voltages. The AC voltage is converted into DC voltage by the rectifier. It is then applied to the battery and the vehicle's electrical circuits. The voltage regulator keeps the alternator output voltage constant. And lastly, the diode trio output becomes the energizing voltage for the rotor electromagnet once the engine starts running. Tata Motors Durafit parts alternator and its components are designed specifically for Tata Motors commercial vehicles. They are built to last longer and are proven to deliver efficient operation and optimum performance to your vehicle's charging system. Some of the main USPs of the Tata Motors Durafit parts alternator are: they are tested to withstand extreme condition. Our alternators are durability tested for 1000 hours. They have a low maintenance cost and are 100% tested for high power output. Our all-new alternator and components are the best choice for a good return on investment and high performance output. At Tata Motors Durafit Parts, we aim to manufacture state-of-the-art spare parts that make our customers' journey smooth and easy. So, get the promise of Tata Motors and enjoy peace of mind when it comes to reliable spare parts.